G'day viewers, it's Friday. You've made it not just to Friday, but to the end of another year. So, the last TFU Friday for 2017 should, obviously, be about what was the most fucked up thing or things about 2017. After all the things I've looked at, all the things I've ranted about, what was the most fucked up? And this is, of course, a very easy choice to make because beyond a shadow of a doubt, the most fucked up aspect of 2017 is Donald Trump. The person and everything he said and everything he did, and the fact that he's just utterly reprehensible, without any form of moral code, without any form of integrity, and pretty clearly without much in the way of intelligence, yet in control of the most powerful political office and most powerful military in the world. Yikes. So, it's so hard to pin down any one thing from Trump. But just in general terms, I really worry that people underestimate how much damage he has done simply to public discourse. Like, it does actually appear that while he's mainly driven by ego, he's surrounded himself with people whose stated goal in many cases is to actually destroy any trust in public institutions, to destroy the concept of truth, to destroy the concept of any politics can be of any value. It's actually quite terrifying. Like, even like simple things like the ridiculous mantra of fake news. It was bad enough when Trump alone was doing it. For literally anything that contradicted himself, no matter how much factual evidence there was to back it up, became fake news. That became an answer in and of itself. And it spread out to all of Trump's minions and in the public and in political life. The instant someone is called out for something awful they've done, the response is fake news. And that's an answer in and of itself. The fact you can produce recordings of them, in some case written words, things they have written down, published and put their name to, but is now in some way awkward to them. You present, this is you. They say fake news. And that's an answer in and of itself. Now, whenever one draws parallels between Trump and his supporters and fascism or Nazi ideology, people go, oh, that's hyperbole. But it's fucking stunning how much what he says and does is literally from the Nazi textbooks on propaganda and ideology. It's fascist ideology. What do? You undermine the trust in public institutions. You negate the concept of truth itself. You say that anyone who disagrees is not someone with a disagreement, but they are a traitor. They are an enemy of the state. This is the reasoning that has repeatedly throughout history been used to justify genocides. And that is the other big thing that is supremely bad about Trump. Forget just political stuff or economic ideas that I disagree with. The fact that he's blatantly enriching himself and the other rich people while fucking over the vast majority of the population, the vast majority of idiots who were stupid enough to vote for him. Forgetting just that idea, and let's just call that politics, and that's opinion. But he's mainstreamed Nazism. He has legitimized white supremacists. He has put people in the White House who are on the record as promoting race war and genocide. That has become the fucking mainstream under Trump. And that is fucking inexcusable. And the list of people who are complicit in allowing this to happen is long and varied, but I sincerely worry that society as a whole won't recover from this. Once white supremacists and outright Nazis are legitimized by the President of the United States, what comes next? When you look at history, Hitler and his brown shirts were excused for acts up to and including murder. As in the white supremacist who ran down and murdered a counter-protester in America, but the brown shirts were going around murdering Jews. And that was being excused by the mainstream press of the day. That was not something that automatically excluded Hitler from office. That was not something that got Hitler arrested. That his followers were murdering people at his instigation. And you wonder why some of us are so worried about Trump. Because every hideous, racist, sexist, vile thing he's done has been legitimized and mainstreamed. And history shows us that this doesn't stop, that it keeps escalating. And it does my head, like, you don't have to go very far back in time to be able to shock people, say, you know what? In 2017, the concepts that Nazis are bad and child molesters should not hold any form of public office will be considered as radical concepts. Those are things that people in the mainstream think are up for debate. You don't just automatically kick the living fucking shit out of someone who idolizes Hitler. That's like, oh, that's a bad thing to do. No, it fucking isn't. This is not political disagreement. When people actively promote race war, you need to shut them the fuck down. Because history shows us what happens if and when you give them a platform. They become the mainstream and the race war moves from rhetoric to actual fucking murder on an industrial scale, okay? To say that there's something to equate between fascists and anti-fascists is disgusting fucking cowardice, and history will not judge these moral equivocators kindly. I mean, I'm reduced to basically the one saving grace of Trump world is how fucking shallow he is and how making fun of him for stupid things really does upset him. Like just this week, a Gallup poll came up, who's the most admired man in America? Trump will now go down in history as being the first US president in the 70 plus years this survey has run to not win that survey in the first year of his presidency. Over the 70 odd years that it's been running, it's almost always been won by the sitting president, but every sitting president who was elected that year has won it in his first year of office. Trump, who is very clearly going down in history as the absolute worst US president ever on so many levels, he's the first person to fail on this level. And to rub salt into the wound, the winner, the most admired man in America, was Barack Obama. And the most admired woman was Hillary Clinton. It's just like, you rub his nose in it because this shit hurts him because he's so fucking shallow. To try and play off on this, he tweeted this thing, look, here is a survey that says, I have a 46% approval rating. And when you unpack that, it's fucking fascinating. Because first, he's saying that having less than half the population thinking he's doing a good job is a win. Second, that was one survey. Averaging across all surveys, his approval rating's about 10% lower than that. And him and his idiot supporters are being going, see, look at that. A 46% approval rating. That's just like Obama at the end of his first year. Like, at the end of Obama's first year, his average approval rating was 50%, which is actually many millions of people more approving than 46%. But that was his average. This one survey is not indicative of the overall trend. On average, Trump's approval rating is around 36, 37, maybe 38%. So Trump is spectacularly unpopular to historically significant levels, and that shit gets to him. He's so fucking insecure. It's like when the pictures started circulating of the Trump robot at Disney World in the Hall of Presidents and how it was fucking hideous and didn't look like him. And more than a few people looked at it and went, it's pretty obvious they made a Hillary robot because they were so convinced Clinton was going to win the election. And then rather than starting from scratch, they just made do. They gave it a different wig and they went, there you go, that's Trump. Now, saying that is really childish, but it upsets Trump. And the more it's spread, the more it goes on the internet, he can't avoid seeing things like, he's the most unpopular, he's a joke, he's pathetic. Now, his ego will probably get us all killed, but die with a smile on our face. Why the fuck not? Because there's literally nothing else going for us. If we can't laugh, we can't take it away from him. That's the job of the special prosecutor, to find him guilty of criminal acts and take the presidency away from him. We, the public, can't do anything, so we may as well mock him because he's so fucking shallow, he can't handle it. You see interviews when Obama was president and people said, what do you think when people hang shit on you? He just goes, well, you take up public life. This is a thing that happens. People have a go at you. You say to Trump, hey, what do you think about people ripping on you? He loses his tiny little mind and he pisses and moans and he can't deal with it. So that's the one power we have over him. It's completely ineffectual and changes nothing. But, you know, if the world's going to hell and I'm going to live in some fucking Mad Max post-apocalyptic hellscape, I'm at least going to have a laugh or two in the meantime, quite honestly. And I'm not going to let it get to me. Because with his idiot supporters and anyone who still describes themselves as a Donald Trump supporter, not a Republican, but a Donald Trump supporter, if you're an active supporter, you are somewhere on a spectrum between hideously stupid and hideously reprehensible, just like the absolute worst example of what a human can be. And I know they don't care because they take it on and say, yeah, that's me. I'm deplorable. And it's even mutated into this weird thing like, remember the alt-right, the fucking closet neo-Nazis adopted the cartoon frog Pepe as their symbol. Well, apparently, for the real fucking hardcore fucking hate mongers, that's not enough. Pepe went too mainstream. They've done their own version of it, which is fatter and often naked, which they call Groyper, and really badly drawn as well. Although again, on the world of dank memes, doing things badly is a conscious thing. It's a very strange world we live in when people deliberately decide to execute things badly, but that is the world we live in. And yeah, so if you ever see this icon, someone using anywhere on the internet, on social media, of a fatter, uglier frog, yeah, that person is just saying, oh no, those other Nazi hate mob, they weren't enough for me. I'm a special sort of racist fucking bigot. I have to express myself like this. It's just like, okay. And like, they'll even do stuff, they'll promote stuff that's destructive to themselves. Well, like Trump, for instance, but because they're contrarian. That's their big thing. They don't stand for anything. They don't offer anything. They can never contribute anything because they have nothing. They are nothing. But they just go, I'm going to upset the normies. Okay, dude. It's like, even things like, they'll do stuff saying they're a big fan of Ajit Pai, the guy who's the face of destroying net neutrality in the US, which is going to fuck over everyone apart from the biggest companies. But it's like, oh no, because the normies and the progressives hate Ajit Pai, we, by definition, like him, no matter how destructive it is to us. So, I mean, I'm really wary. I don't even like saying things that upset me because I worry they'll champion it just because I'm triggered by it. I mean, I know, okay, so they hate feminism and they talk about how feminism emasculates men and is destroying men. I mean, if they took it to its natural conclusion and like cut their own dicks off, I'd be so upset. Like, I would be so triggered. That would be appalling. That would show a commitment to their cause that I could never match. And I'd be traumatized. Like, I'd be so upset. Like, if they like made videos of smashing their balls between two bricks until it was nothing but a little bloody pulp, and those videos went viral and everyone watched them, I'd be so triggered. I'd be so upset. I hope they never know that these things upset me, because if they did them, it'd be awful. It's like that idiot from the Prison Planet posting pictures of himself smoking, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm smoking because it's cool, because cancer upsets small L liberals." You go, dude, what would really upset me is if you were smoking crack and injecting heroin straight into your dick. I would be so upset. I would be so affronted. You would just own me completely if you did that. I mean, I'm so susceptible to these people hurting themselves. I mean, you know, if they did something like took a belt sander to their face because white identity was being erased, so they were going to erase their white features, I'd be super owned. I'd be so traumatized. I'd be so triggered. I think everyone, look, we need to be honest and show how much these people control us. You should just comment on what they should do to themselves that would really trigger you, because we need to acknowledge that they are our masters. If they would only do these things, like if they do these things, we'd have no comeback. And I fucking guarantee you these brain dead fuckheads would do it, because they are that fucked up. And if there's one thing I want to look forward to in 2018, it's these shitheads hurting themselves, because both figuratively and literally, they think hurting themselves upsets progressives. I want them to put their money where their mouth is and just hurt themselves really fucking badly.